You have fire in your gut? Okay, we're here for a reason to win games. So if you didn't have that fire in your gut, you better light the fire pretty fast.
And welcome back, latest and greatest episode of the Shaving Points podcast. My name is Jayden May, joined as always by my co-host Quentin Crisco. How we doing that?
Killing it.
Feeling
Rocking.
better after your COVID?
Yeah, I wish I could blame all last week's bets on my COVID brain because they were terrible.
Yeah, no, I'll allow it. I did not have an excuse. I just had a bad week. 3-3 in college, 2-4 in NFL. Really need a big week this week. Love some college bets. NFL's in a weird spot right now. It's very entertaining.
Extremely entertaining. It's like
just hard to figure out.
There are so few really bad teams and like not that many really good teams. And it's just like a mad rush for who can get to 9 wins, it feels like.
Yeah, and then some of the juggernauts that we thought we had, like, for instance, the Texans did not look all that good, but maybe the Vikings are good.
Dude, Brian Flores is not real. This can't be real, what he's doing with that defense. Like, I can believe that Kevin O'Connell is getting this out of Sam Darnold because Justin Jefferson is there. And Justin Jefferson just changes defenses and gives you easier answers. But what Brian Flores is doing with the Vikings defense is literally insane when you look at that roster.
And the Vikings are getting TJ Hawkinson back in probably, 2 or 3 weeks?
Is it that soon?
I think so. I think they said by, like, week 6 or something.
Oh, I thought he was supposed to be out till, like, November.
Oh.
I could be wrong. That was just I thought.
Who's their other receiver? He's supposed to be coming back pretty soon, too.
Jordan Addison, I think, should be back. He got injured like week 1.
Yeah, Jordan Addison's coming back. Jalen Naylor's playing well. Aaron Jones is running the rock. Like, they look solid. And then, I mean, the Chiefs are doing the Chiefs. I mean, Rashee Rice is going to have 150 catches this year.
Yeah. I mean, he's just getting spammed the football because that's what happens when you have Xavier Worthy on your team and playing outside, and everything needs to be protected against his speed. Like, I mean, I think that his value goes so far above his production because of that.
Yep. And then Travis Kelce is just everybody is like shaded towards him. So he just he takes up 3 guys in the middle because they're like, we're not going to let Travis Kelce catch the ball. And then they just let Rashee Rice catch the ball 13 times.
Yeah. I'm really bummed about Hollywood Brown because I have Kelce in one fantasy league, and my entire thought process was I don't care if he's getting slow with Hollywood and Worthy. You're not going to be able to defend the middle of the field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Hollywood's out for the season now. Probably there's a chance he'll never play for the Chiefs, which is sad. Would have loved to see that, but they'll go out and find another fast guy in the offseason.
Yeah, they're around.
Kareem Hunt's coming in. We'll see how that goes. Chiefs are a wagon. If they're winning games like this early in the season, like, why are we even playing the games?
Dude, they're gonna 3-peat. Like they're just gonna, unless something like some injury happens that they can't get past. Like they're
Bills look good. Bills look good, but all right. Well, anything we need to clean up from last week? Cowboys, gross. Bears, gross.
Hey, Caleb Williams threw for 363 yards, and that doesn't happen to the Bears very often. So I'm very
and 2
excited.
touchdowns.
I'm very excited.
Yeah. No, Caleb looked better late in the game. They still got to figure out that.
After he hit that deep ball to Rome to like 45-yard or something, deep ball, it was like everything started working for him.
Yeah.
It was like a 3-point shooter just needing to see it go in the bucket, and then it was like, okay, I can do this.
They need to figure out that protection, but as soon as they do, I think they'll be fine.
Truly, I don't even think their pass blocking was that bad in that game. Their run blocking was atrocious, but their pass blocking was actually fine.
DeAndre Swift isn't doing anything to help them out either.
No.
What did you think about that fourth and goal call?
Oh, that was one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen.
Gross.
Like that call was just awful.
The
I'll tell you why the whole line was on the ground, because they heard the call and they were like, what the fuck does he want us to do? How are we going to do that against this many guys in the box who are getting downhill on us and he wants us to go horizontal on? Like, what? Ugh.
Did you? I think I sent you the video of the OC just shaking calling the play. Like, I don't know. That could just be he could have like tremors or something, but yeah, it was a bad look.
Yeah, it's got to get figured out, man. There's too much talent on that offense for it to be this bad.
So, what are the chances Eberflus is the coach next year if that something doesn't change?
I don't know, because I actually think they're pretty strong, because I think the Bears are poor, cash poor, and they won't pay for another coach. So, like, I don't know.
What do you think? What do you think the chances of the OC sticking around are?
Listen.
I mean, we're 3 weeks in.
It's week 3.
Week 4 now.
Let's breathe. Let's breathe. Let's wait till half season before we start firing people and just see what happens.
Speaking of firing people, how long is Doug Peterson going to be the coach in Jacksonville?
Oh, it might not be long.
So we were talking about it. We were talking about it last night. They go to London for back-to-back games. They got Patriots first, Bears second. If they go 1-1 during their 2 weeks in London, does he come back?
I think he does. I think 0-2 they might leave him there. But did Doug Peterson effectively Carson Wentz Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah.
He might have. First year there, looks all good. Looks nice. Looks like a shiny new toy. Next year, comes down to earth a little. Next year is just unplayable.
Speaking of shiny new toys, Dave Canales. Is he just the greatest coach ever?
No, Andy Dalton's just not as bad as everyone thinks. And if you think about who is doing stuff in the league right now as quarterbacks against all the too high that's getting played and everything that's being taken away from the passing game, it's guys who have been in the league for forever.
Veterans.
Yeah. Andy Dalton is that. Andy Dalton has no nervousness about seeing cover 2 out there. And he's just like, oh, okay, I know how to beat this.
Imagine Tom Brady running that. What was that? 2011 era Patriots, where it was like Julian Edelman and Danny Woodhead, all the white guys, just out there running like 12-yard outs with Gronk running seams down the middle against these defenses.
Yeah. Gronk just going up and getting it over triple coverage, like
they would dominate.
Yeah.
This, but we can go ahead and get into some of these week's games. First up, we have Cowboys going to Rutherford, taking on the Giants. Giants are 4.5-point dogs at home with a 43.5-point total. Giants look good. Malik Neighbors is certified dog. Danny Dimes is playing a little bit better. Devin Singletary is running the ball very, very well. That defense is looking as advertised. That defensive line is nasty. You have the Cowboys coming off of back-to-back bad losses. I guess the loss against the Ravens wasn't as bad as the final score wasn't as bad as kind of how the game went. But
truly, though,
they climbed their way back out.
Like, they had a real chance.
It was a legitimate comeback.
So it's not just garbage time.
Yeah. They started coming back in the third quarter. Legitimate comeback. Back-to-back missed 2-point conversions really hurt, but they did have to get an onside kick for it to be that close. Brandon Aubrey, by the way, is like he's going to hit from 70 this year.
How many hours of sleep do you think Mike Zimmer's had this week?
I hope 0.
I bet it's 0.
If it's any more than 1, he needs to be fired because he's got to figure something out. I have a family group chat, and I was saying in there, it's like, if the offense is going to play this bad early in the game, like as soon as we pass midfield, just kick it. Just kick a field goal. Just get points.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, just put it all on Brennan Aubrey.
yeah. He doesn't miss.
Don't
Just
miss.
as soon as you get within 70 yards, just kick it. Like, great strategy. And then just don't let the other team score touchdowns and just trust that your kicker is going to make more than their kicker.
That's like there's like a old football question. It's like, what would you rather have, a defense that forces a 3 and out every other series, or a kicker who can make it from 80 yards? It's like, kicker can make it from 80 yards. Doubt.
Yeah, because
every single drive, just boom, kick it, boom, kick it, boom, kick it.
Well,
10 drives, 30 points.
Your defense might hold them back-to-back 3 and outs every now and then.
Yeah, or like, I mean, I forget what the other option is exactly, but it's just like, it's hard to beat a kicker who can make that. If you're being like, if you're doing the math, it's like, I mean, okay, that's pretty hard to beat.
I think Aubrey could legit make it from about 73,
especially once you factor in the idea of like, if you just kicked it every time you hit the 30-yard line, or I guess you need to get to the 40-ish once you're factoring like the move back, but like every time, how many more possessions you would get?
The 40, you basically add 17, so the 40 would be 60 yards, so 76-yard field goal. So, but you start on the 35 if you get a touchback?
Yeah. Yeah, and how many more possessions are you going to get from shaving that time off? So now you're talking maybe 15 possessions in a game. We're talking 45 points a game. Like, tough to beat that.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy they didn't let him kick that 71-yarder against the Browns right before halftime.
We were robbed.
But this game terrifies me as a Cowboys fan. Dak does not lose division games. Dak owns the division. He's got a ridiculous record. I should have looked it up. His record against the division is outrageous. I think in his last 15 division games I saw earlier, he's 14-1 against the spread. Just crazy numbers. But this game terrifies me because I think the Cowboys either win by more than the total, so they'll go out there and win by 50. Or if it's a close game late, like Malik Neighbors opposite of you, I'm terrified. If we're down by 2 or 3, that defensive line terrifies me. Like, I do not want to get anywhere close to a close game with these guys. Like earlier this week or last week, you know what the Giants' just team slogan is? Brian Daboll style?
What?
Fuck it.
Full risky business on it. Just say fuck it.
Apparently, that's just they're like, fuck it. We're not supposed to be here. We're not supposed to be good. Fuck it. Like, we got a rookie wide receiver. We don't care. We got a badass defensive line. Everybody's already counted out Daniel Jones. He's not going to be back next year. Fuck it. Just go out there and sling it. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? We're going to be as bad as everybody thinks. Then most of us are gone anyway.
Yeah. I mean,
it's scary.
I don't know. I bet Cowboys minus 4.5 pretty quickly when I saw it this morning.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people did. I'm not betting it. I mean, I'm terrified. The back half of the Ravens game did have some promise. I mean, a couple of big plays that the Ravens had, like the Nelson Aguilar play, was so fluky. And then Lamar just doing Lamar things. He is the 2-time, so he's going to get his. And then, I mean, Derrick Henry had some big moments, but I mean, I wouldn't. You look at Derrick Henry's stats in the game, I don't think are very indicative of how he actually performed throughout the game. But maybe that's just me being a Derrick Henry hater. I don't know. But not one time in that game I was like, oh man, like we got to be able to stop Derrick Henry. It was stopping Lamar, and like they had some really nice play calls and everything. And then Derrick Henry would get his 2 or 3 yards, and Lamar would make a play. And then at the end of the game, I think Derrick Henry had like 138 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. And you're like, oh, Derrick Henry performance. It really wasn't. I didn't think for the flow of the game. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know. The Cowboys have lost to the Giants once since 2017. The Cowboys are the Giants' daddy right now for all intensive purposes, and I just have a hard time moving past that when I see the spread at only 4.5. Like they beat them 40-0 week 1 last year. Obviously, they're different teams than they were last year, but like I don't know if the Giants did that much and the Cowboys downgraded that much to make that big a difference. Especially when I look at the Giants, they've scored 6, 18, and 21 points so far this year. I mean, their defense has been okay. Their defense has been like middle of the pack, solid statistically. And, you know, they just held the Browns to 15 points, which is, you know, like whoopee do. Like the Browns kind of suck at offense.
The Browns.
I mean, I like the Giants D-line a lot. I love Malik Neighbors. I just think the Cowboys have a lot more talent, and I keep getting bit for saying I'm betting on talent, but I need to keep betting on talent if I think if I'm ever going to come out of losing them, because if I start switching it, it's good. The talent's going to start winning.
At some point, talent has to matter.
Yeah.
So I'm avoiding it, but I think the Cowboys win. I've bet them the last 2 weeks, and now they're going to go out there and win by 40. Like. I might just take the over because I think the Cowboys might score 40 plus. So,
all right.
Next up, we have Saints at Falcons. Falcons are 1.5 point favorites at home, 42.5 point spread. Weird line here. Falcons look good. Saints were looking good. Saints actually looked pretty good against Philadelphia. They just couldn't score touchdowns. They moved the ball pretty well, played good defense. They had a deep shot to Rashid Shaheed for the 3rd straight week. They just dropped it. So I don't really know what to think about this game. Falcons, I mean, primetime Kirky, man. I mean,
primetime Kirk.
He looked good his last 2 games. Pretty brutal loss to the Chiefs, but yeah, I like the Falcons in this spot. I'm not betting it though, but Falcons look good. Drake London's looking fantastic. Kyle Pitts is finally starting to emerge. They really need Bijan to kind of take that next step and be the guy they need him to be. Because if that happens, then Kirko can start slinging the rock. Darnell Mooney also is an absolute weapon. I know we talked about it in the offseason. I mean, he's a fantastic piece to that offense.
Mm-hmm. So I want to point something out with the Saints. They got outgained 460 yards to 219 on Sunday.
Was it that bad? It didn't seem that bad.
They did not move the football. They had 3 drives where they moved the ball 50 yards, but that's it. The rest of the drives, none went for more than 18 yards. I think they're a very one-dimensional team. If they can beat you with running the football, they have a chance to win. But if not, that O-line is just going to get ugly when they have to go into true pass sets. And they just got injured on the O-line. I believe their center is out this week. After their center got hurt in that game against the Eagles, it kind of they struggled. And they struggled before too, it looks like. I can't say that for sure. And the Falcons are dealing with multiple injuries on their O-line. Give me the under 42.5. I think this could be an ugly division game, rivalry game. These two teams fucking hate each other. Like, no joke. In our off-season series where we go through team by team and I'm watching the All-22, I watched the All-22 from like one of their late season games last year. These two teams hate each other.
The actual teams too, not just the fan bases.
The players do not like each other. It was evident in the tape. Like, these guys do not like each other one bit. I think it's going to be a beat 'em up game. Like,
it sneakily might be one of the biggest rivalries in the NFL.
Yeah, no, it is. And I was shocked, but like I'm sure Falcons and Saints fans aren't shocked. But I do not remember the last time I saw two teams just like truly disliking each other when neither of those teams were making the playoffs like they were last year.
Especially when
beating each other up.
You hear ex-players from both teams talk about how much they hate them too, and it's like you don't hear that about any other. You don't hear that from any other players besides like Steelers and Ravens.
Yeah,
like that's really the only because like, I mean, guys that stay forever in like Dallas and Philly will hate, but there'll be guys who like have like a 1-year stint in Pittsburgh or a 1-year stint in Atlanta, and then like 10 years later, will still be like, "Oh, I hate the Saints."
yeah, dude. No, they do not like each other. I think it's going to be a defensive game. I think, what's his name? The Falcons head coach. He was the
Morris.
Raheem Morris. I think Raheem Morris going to have a heck of a game plan after Vic Fangio just gave him a script on how to stop the Saints. And I think Dennis Allen is a great defensive mind who's going to be able to slow down the Falcons, especially with their O-line injuries.
Yeah, I like I put it in my tickler file under 42.5.
All right. Next up, we got Bengals at Panthers. One of the sicko games of the week has to be Panthers are 4.5-point dogs at home, total of 47.5.
Yeah. So Bengals are coming off a game they probably should have won. First game since World War II that there was no turnovers or punts in the entire game. And the Bengals-Washington game. It seems like that should have been a game they won. Everything went right for Washington. But other than that, the Bengals haven't looked great. They were running the ball well last night. I mean, Jamar Chase caught 2 big ones. Yoshivas is incredible. T. Higgins is back in the fold. Joe Burrow's looking good. But
I do think his wrist is a little his ball's a little different. He doesn't have the same zip he used to.
Andy Dalton revenge game. Remember Andy Dalton on the Bengals?
Andy Dalton revenge game. I didn't even think about that. You're right.
He was on the Bengals for like a decade, and they were good every year. Never won a playoff game.
I wonder what Andy Dalton's career splits are against the Bengals.
I want to say he plays well against them.
Me too. I'm looking it up right now.
That seems so long ago.
It is so long ago.
He's
2-1 against the Bengals. 403 yards in 3 games, but 4 touchdowns and no interceptions. That's something.
Is Deontay Johnson's not hurt, is he?
I don't think so.
Just Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen went on IR today.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to take the Panthers here. It's a sicko move.
I want to bet the over, but I know that this Bengals defense probably isn't as bad as they looked on Monday night.
What are the chances? Hypothetical. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but what are the chances that T. Higgins is on this team week 7 if they lose this game?
I don't know. 3
weeks away, they'll be 0-4.
I mean, the tough part is you're probably not getting a lot for him because he hasn't done anything this year.
Well, you're getting nothing for him
right, but
if you get to the end of the season.
I think Trey Hendrickson's more likely to get moved than T. Higgins.
Maybe both.
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, Yoshivas looks
if
really
they
good.
lose this game, trading both would be the smart thing to do. I think so, because now you have real assets to rebuild for Burrow, but
yeah,
I don't know.
That's what the Bills did.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm staying away. I'm leaning towards the over here, but I'm staying away.
I'm staying away. Andy Dalton revenge game. They'll put it in the tickler file.
All right. Next up, we got the Puka Nacua Cooper Cupless Rams going to Chicago on a rainy day. It's going to rain all weekend there, supposedly, against the Bears. Bears are 2.5-point favorites, total of 40.5.
Can the Bears protect Caleb Williams this weekend?
I think they protected him
Against this
decently
defense.
last weekend. I mean, he was pressured 14 times on 59 dropbacks. Like, I mean,
Yeah, but the Colts don't have any. I felt like 14 is still too much against that Colts team. But
out of 60?
Yeah, I guess they did throw the ball 160 times.
I mean, I'm not saying they were good, but I thought they did.
They got to figure out some sort of run game. Put Roach, or at least the O line
did. Yeah, the run game is the real issue. I mean,
you can't have Caleb throwing the ball 60 times again.
I'll say I want the over on this. I took the over on this, and then I wiped it from my bets when I realized it's going to be raining.
Gross
that's
weather.
That's the only reason I'm not taking the over now. But the bet's already in. I'm just taking it off my official bet sheet. Like I'm not going to cash it out or anything. But I like the over in this game quite a bit if the weather was nice.
So Matt Stafford just got his 100th win, I think they said the other day. And
where's the centennial?
Yeah. So he just got his 100th win against the 49ers.
His centennial win.
And out of those 100 wins, he trailed in the fourth quarter with less than 5 minutes in 43 of those 100 wins.
It's insane. It's freaking insane. Hey, I said it on our QB tiering show. There are only two quarterbacks I'm more scared of in the playoffs than Matt Stafford right now, and that's Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen. Outside of that, there's no other quarterback in the NFL that I am more scared of.
Dak Prescott.
No.
I'm terrified of Dak Prescott as a Cowboys fan in the playoffs.
Yeah, I bet.
But yeah, I'm not touching this game. I like the Bears. I've liked the Bears all season. They need a statement win here. I mean, but going out and getting a gritty 2-point win, ain't no shame in that game. You just need this win.
Mm-hmm.
Rams threw everything they had to get that win last week versus the Niners. Absolutely loved it for them. Kyron Williams looked incredible, but Bears got to get this one.
Yeah, I mean, you never know what Sean McVay has up his sleeve, but I'm betting he pulled out all the stops last week, and obviously he's going to have some new stuff. But like, that was a big game for them. I'm wondering what they have left in the tank for this game, especially they're going to be playing at 9 a.m. their normal time, like their body's time, flying to Chicago, like 3 time zones or whatever that is. So I think the Bears are going to win, but I'm not betting it.
Yeah.
Next up here, we got the Steelers going to Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, where weird things happen. Colts are 1.5-point dogs here, total of 39.5.
Justin Fields looks good. Legitimately good in that Steelers offense. I mean, they're not having to do too much, but he is making the throws when he needs to make them. They're just playing good, solid football, playing great defense. Mm-hmm. And Anthony Richardson, I don't think is good.
No, I don't either, but I'm wondering. I think Steelers defense is good too. I don't know. I'm wondering if they're gonna pull some more of the run packages back this week after last week, because it's good. It can kind of be like put up or shut up time, and like you start opening up the run packages again, like some of the Jalen Hurts runs, like it starts to get more interesting.
Yeah, I don't. It's tough. I mean, I want to take the Steelers here. I don't think the Colts are good. I don't think their defense is good. I don't think Anthony Richardson's good. But we could have a Jonathan Taylor game where he gets 23 carries for 189 yards and they just can't stop him. So I'm staying away from it because weird things happen in Indy. But I might lean this under. I mean, I don't really have faith that Justin Fields can go out there and put 24 on the board or anything like that. And I don't know about the Colts scoring more than 21. So,
yeah, like what have the Steelers put up so far this season in games? Like let's see here, 18, 13, and 20. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think Justin Fields can run the offense they're asking him to run like very well. It's just a
Mhm.
question of whether someone puts a stop to their ability to run that offense. That I don't know that Gus Bradley's the guy who's going to do that, but I don't know. Weird things happen at Lucas Oil.
Yeah.
I'm staying away.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
All right, next
Next
up,
up,
the
Vikings
Vikings.
at Packers. Packers are 2.5-point favorites at home with a 43.5-point total here. Vikings look good. Sammy D slinging that rock.
I hate the Packers so much.
Same. I want to take the Vikings so bad.
How on earth do they go 2-0 with Malik Willis at quarterback? Like how?
I'm telling you.
How is this allowed to happen?
Told you.
I'm calling for a
told you.
boycott. This is cheating. They're cheating. I don't know how, but they're cheating.
It's not fair.
It's not.
It's not fair.
It's wrong. And I mean, the Viking.
And Josh Jacobs hasn't been doing anything. He had 150 yards the first Malik Willis start.
It's smoke and
with no
mirrors,
touchdown.
man. I don't understand. Like, oh, I hate the Packers so much. They're Matt LaFleur is a witch.
At least we can take solace in that they don't win Super Bowls or playoff games, except unless they're playing the Cowboys.
I mean, I want nothing to do with this game. I think the Vikings are a straw man. I think the talent is going to catch up eventually, at least defensively. Offensively, they have plenty of talent. Don't get me wrong there, but I do think that when Sam Darnold gets in a negative game script, I think the results are going to be different.
He's on pace for 45 touchdowns.
He's also on pace for like 3,100 yards.
Good.
No, that's not good. The only guy who's probably worse is Justin Fields, who's on pace for like 2,800 yards.
3,100 yards and 45 touchdowns would be the greatest season in Bears history.
For touchdowns.
What if he wins MVP?
I mean, I don't know. He probably could with 45 touchdowns because that's where MVP voting is at. That's the state of it. But anyways, I think the Vikings are like flawed, but their coaching is so good that it hasn't mattered yet. Maybe it won't matter. That and Justin Jefferson is so good. Justin Jefferson is ungodly good. Like the way that defenses play him is disgusting, because it just gives guys like Sam Darnold opportunities all over the place.
Jalen Naylor's out there just catching tutties.
Yeah, Jalen Naylor's just flying wide open. No one even cares about him. They don't even know his name or his number. They don't know he's out there. They're just like, everyone, you got to make sure Justin Jefferson is not hurt.
And Aaron Jones is looking good.
Aaron Jones is good. I mean, I don't think there's any question about that. As long as he's
Remember when I got berated? For saying that, like, why would you let Aaron Jones go just to pay Josh Jacobs all that money?
Yeah, Packers fans. But I mean, Jordan Love is back. My brain tells me the Packers are the more talented team here, and Matt LaFleur is the better coach. So I would take the Packers, but also it's a weird conversation because I think Brian Flores is that good of a defense coordinator that he might be able to flip a game.
The Vikings go 4-0 here, and the Packers are 2-2.
Packers are 3-1, aren't they? Or I'm sorry. They're 2-1.
Yeah. I'm saying Vikings win this game. They go 4-0. Packers go 2-2. Say the Lions slip up against the Seahawks. They go 2-2. Let's say the Bears get a win. Even if you don't think highly of the Vikings, 4-0 with a division win 4 weeks into the season when everybody else in the division is 2-2, that division gets even more exciting than I thought it would be before the season started.
You're talking me into the Packers right now, and I don't like it, and I'm not going to bet it, but like I kind of like the Packers here a lot.
Sam Darnold,
kind of like
Dick Hammer
at Lambeau. I like
Dick Hammer. Justin Jefferson.
I mean, Justin Jefferson is absolute. He is the dog. Now, he's not a dog. He's the dog.
Aaron Jones at Lambeau.
Ooh, Aaron Jones revenge game. That's juicy. I mean,
juicy.
I'm not
I'm
taking
not
it,
taking it.
but I've got a strong lean to the Packers here.
Okay.
All right, next up, we got the Jaguars going to H-Town, to Houston, to the Dirty H, taking on the Texans. Texans are 6.5-point favorites, total of 45.5.
Yeah, so I'm taking the Jaguars in this game solely because if they go 0-4, I don't know if Doug Peterson even makes it to London if they go 0-4. I think they go to London next week. Let me see. Let me double check that. Yeah. So they'll. Well,
Oh my God!
no, they play. Oh wait, that's the wrong team. Jags, Colts.
Could you imagine?
So they got two. They have one more
quarterback
game.
$275 million. 4 years, completely guaranteed, just to start 0-4.
Would you rather that scenario or be 1-3 and Deshaun Watson as your quarterback?
I mean, give me the Jaguars. I think Lawrence's contract is at least friendlier than Deshaun's, but
Well, I think Lawrence is a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson too. I'm taking the Bucks here plus 6.5. I mean, Texans didn't look great last
Jags?
week. Yeah, what did I say?
Bucks.
Oh, yeah, I'm taking the Jags here. Texans didn't look great last week versus the Vikings. I think the Texans win this game, but if the Jaguars can't cover 6.5, what are we even doing in Jacksonville,
At
guys?
0-3.
Yeah. I mean, this is about as must win as you can get. And if you can't cover a touchdown spread and like the biggest must win game of the season to this point, then it's over. So just for that alone, I'm taking Jags plus 6.5.
Okay.
I don't know how they get it. I don't love it. But I mean, I could see the Texans winning this game by 3 or 4. And
Division games tend to be closer.
Yeah. Yep. And
Last year, these two games were Jags lost by 20 and Jags won by 3.
Oh, that doesn't make me feel any better. A little bit, but I mean, I would have liked this game even more if the Texans had won versus the Vikings. But I still like the Jags here. A little wake up call to the Texans, who've looked really, really good. Does scare me a little bit, but these big dogs have been covering pretty well this year. So yeah, I'm taking the Jags and just hoping and praying.
I want nothing to do with this game. I lean towards Texans minus 6.5 just because I think their weapons are outrageous, and I don't know if the Jags have the secondary to manage that or the pass rush to manage
Nico Collins is a dog.
Unless they just start like copycatting Brian Flores, which a bunch of the league has done this year, which probably has something to do with the fact that no one can fucking score in the NFL anymore because Brian Flores is just taking over the NFL.
I think a lot of the scoring has to do with none of the young quarterbacks being. I mean, we had what 4 or 3 starting rookie quarterbacks that hadn't even not a single touchdown thrown going into week 3. You had a couple of blowout games where people were like sitting on it. I mean, I think those numbers were a little skewed, but yeah, I mean, I still think they would be down even if you gave those guys a couple of touchdowns each game.
Defensive coordinators have like they are copycatting some Brian Flores stunts and blitz fronts and bluff packages that a lot of the league struggles with while combining it with a lot of too high and prioritizing stopping the pass over stopping the run, basically daring teams to run, and teams haven't
Yeah.
really done that, or a lot of teams haven't. The Saints did, which is why the Saints started so hot. But really, I think so highly of Flores and his scheme, and the way that he processes defensive football and teaches it as just like pure chaos. And I think NFL defenses leaning into pure chaos is a really good thing for defense. Like I really do.
Brian Flores, legendary Giants coach, according to Bill Belichick.
Who is that? Who was the Giant? I remember Flores. Who was the Flores? I forget his first name.
Brian Dable got the head coaching job in New York, and it hadn't been announced yet. And Bill Belichick texted Brian Flores. He was like, "Hey, congratulations on the Giants job." And Brian Flores is like, "I interview with them tomorrow. Did you mean to text me?" And he was like, "Oh, no, sorry." And that's when Brian Flores sued the league and was like,
"Yeah,
so you're basically only interviewing me for the Rooney Rule, and you've already given the job to somebody else."
Right. I thought there was a coach for the Seahawks or something with the last name Flores too, and I just assumed that he like years in the 80s or something. I was just
maybe so.
My wires crossed, and I figured maybe he was a Giants coach at some point. But anyways, Broncos at Jets. Jets are 7-point favorites, total of 38.5.
I'm taking the Jets here. I think the Jets looked fantastic last week on Thursday Night Football. I think Aaron Rodgers is finding a rhythm. That offensive line is looking good. Those weapons they have there are fantastic. I think that defense is going to feast on Bo Nix. Give me the Jets. Give me Nathaniel Hackett. -7.
Yeah, if you saw the look on my face, that was me going, "What the hell am I doing?" Because I didn't have this bet, and as I'm thinking it through, Jets on a mini buy.
Yeah,
Broncos just flew from Denver to Tampa to Denver to New York City or to New Jersey. And we're talking Bo Nix against a good Jets defense. Give me Jets -7. Like, I mean, and on top of that, Aaron Rodgers looked like a dog last week. Like, this Denver defense has looked good, but I mean, I don't know what I was thinking. Give me Jets -7.
You going to that game?
No.
Just right down the street from your house.
You know, it is. It's probably like an hour away, but no.
Was it that far?
Yeah, something like that.
I thought you were closer than that.
Nah,
but
I don't want to spend money on NFL tickets. Got enough things to spend money on.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and NFL games aren't really the home viewing experience is just so elite.
Yeah. All right, next up here, Eagles victorious in New Orleans, going down to Tampa Bay to take on the battered, the embarrassed Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who just lost at the hands of Bo Nix by a lot. Bucks are 2.5-point dogs, total of 44.5.
I'm taking the Buccaneers here. I think Baker has a bounce back game. I think the Bucks have a bounce back game. Sean Payton knows that Buccaneers team so well. I mean, I think that had a lot to do with it. And I said it with the Cowboys against the Saints. Sometimes you just get behind the 8 ball from the start of the game, and what does it really matter if you lose by 4, if you get blown out at that point? It doesn't. Can't really take it to heart. And I know you said earlier the Eagles outgained New Orleans like 380 yards to
It was like
27.
But
yeah, it's just I don't think Jalen Hurts is good, and Devonta Smith is dead. So he's dead. So I like the Bucks here. I mean, Mike Evans, Rashad White, Baker Mayfield. You can go out there and sling that rock boy. Is their O-line healthy? Am I imagining that? Did they have some injuries?
the Bucks?
Yeah. I thought they lost somebody.
I thought they were healthy.
They might be
Could
healthy.
be mistaken on that.
I might be mistaken. But no, I like the Bucks here. +3 at home. Give me the Bucks.
Me too. I got Bucks money line on this.
I'll take the money line too.
No
Just give
Devonta
me the money
Smith.
line.
No A.J. Brown. I believe no A.J. Brown. So you're telling me the game is on Jalen Hurts' shoulders without his 2 stud receivers?
Dallas Goedert played well last week, but I don't know how well Dallas Goedert plays with those DBs and that linebacking room they have there in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I just the Bucks got embarrassed. They got embarrassed at home last week. I think they bounced back from that. They're too talented not to.
One thing
you
about
got Mike
Eagles,
Evans against rookie cornerbacks, like Mike Evans anytime touchdown.
And Chris
seems
Godwin.
like a winner to me.
Aren't they starting 2 rookies?
They're starting at least one. The kid out of Iowa, Cooper DeJean, he wasn't starting to start the year. I'm not sure if he is now or not.
Okay. I will say one thing for Philly. Jalen Carter looked incredible.
Jalen Carter's a dog.
But he looked incredible last year until he didn't. So,
yeah. I mean, even after he didn't, he was still pretty dang good. Like, I feel like there was this, like, misnomer that he suddenly wasn't good. And he was still, like, pretty dang good. He just wasn't on the historic pace anymore.
Yeah, he's a bust.
People seem to think so, which is incredible to me when I watch his tape of, like, this guy's not a bust.
I'll say anybody's a bust.
All right. Both on money line. Moving on. Commanders at Cardinals in Arizona. We are not sleeping on them Cardinals. Cardinals are 3.5-point favorites, total of 50.5.
Spicy. Cliff Kingsbury revenge game?
This is the revenge weekend. Cliff Kingsbury revenge game is on.
So, I know Jaden Daniels is like the bright, shiny new toy and everything. Just went and absolutely torched Cincinnati's defense. Like I said earlier, first game since 1940 without a punt or a turnover. Played extremely well. Made a big play every time they needed it. He never let the Bengals even try to come back. I mean, every time the Bengals would score and they needed to stop to take the lead, Jaden Daniels just making another play. I mean, he was incredible, but he's a rookie quarterback. And if I told you right now, Jaden Daniels goes out against the Cardinals and goes 13 for 23 with 3 interceptions and rushes the ball like he has 8 rushing attempts for about 57 yards and they only scored 10 points, would you be surprised?
Can you repeat that?
If he goes like 13 for 23 with 2 interceptions, no touchdowns, and has about 50 yards rushing on the ground and they only score about 13 points.
No, I wouldn't be shocked at all.
No. He's a rookie. Schemed up very, very well. I mean, Terry McLaurin had an awesome touchdown and that really awesome long throw. But really, really focused on that right side of the field. Yeah, his passing chart there. You can see if you're watching along with us. So I'm just saying I like Jaden Daniels. I like Cliff Kingsbury, but might want to pump the brakes before we crown him. If you want to crown him. I'm gonna give it a couple more weeks. I do think he's a special talent, but I think this over is ridiculous. I like the under here. I'm not taking it, but I like it at 50.5. And I like the Cardinals -3. I don't like it with the hook, so I'm staying away from it. But yeah, I would proceed with caution with this Commanders team if you're looking at last week's performance.
On Monday Night Football, I think Lou Anarumo was stubborn about his defense and about his personnel. And I think he gave the Commanders an easy button on how to win. And Cliff Kingsbury just kept spamming that easy button because it kept working. I don't think Drew Petzing is going to be like that. I think Drew Petzing he is a very much throw shit at the wall till it sticks kind of person. From what I've gathered of watching the Cardinals defense, I think they are a defense that, like I was talking about earlier, they lean into chaos.
Yeah.
I think chaos leads to Jaden Daniels mistakes. I think structure is something that you can beat with Jaden Daniels. Chaos, I think the Cardinals are gonna have a day. I like this up to 7. Give me Cardinals minus 3.5.
And I like Marvin Harrison Jr. anytime touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me Cardinals minus 3.5. We're not sleeping on them.
Don't sleep.
Add it to my card. Minus 3.5.
I love it. And I just think the Commanders defense is straight booty.
Yeah. Yeah. If it gets into a shootout, give me Kyler.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, we have Patriots at 49ers. 49ers minus 10 after losing 2 games in a row with a total of 39.5. Juwan Jennings, fantasy hero. Biggest fantasy game for anybody so far in the season. 174 catches, 2,943 yards, and 17 touchdowns. Just incredible performance by Juwan Jennings is what you would have thought. And they lose the game. So even better. I know the Patriots aren't good, but they've been frisky. I mean, they got blown out by the Jets, but Aaron Rodgers was kind of in his bag. I don't know, man. This line just seems very sketchy. Maybe the first 2 weeks were just complete flukes, and the Patriots are double-digit underdogs here. But I think they can muck it up and lose by 7 or 8 against this 49ers team. 49ers don't look incredibly – I'm not taking it, but that's a lot of points.
You could sell me a little on this with the Patriots coming off a mini bye in a game where they couldn't stop the run and are going to be fired up to really show a good effort defensively.
Defensive head coach?
I'm not betting it, but the real downside is, to me, they're flying all the way across the country to the West Coast, and that's tough to do, especially when your offense is as rough as they've been. Really brutal offensive line. But yeah, I think the selling point is this defense might come to play and shut down the run, and at that point it could get questionable what Brock Purdy can really do. So I'm a lean towards the Patriots plus 10, but I'm avoiding this like wildfire.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Not touching either. Next up, we have Browns at Raiders. Raiders 1.5 point underdogs at home in Las Vegas with a 37.5 point total. Gross game. Should the Browns be favored against anybody at this point?
Truly, when I saw this, I was about to bet Browns. I was like, Browns minus 1.5 against the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders can score. I definitely don't think they can score against the Browns. So I liked it a lot. And then I saw the offensive line injuries that the Browns had this past week and said, yeah, that seems fluky. That seems like there can be some weird stuff that happens, like Max Crosby can score 2 defensive touchdowns or something crazy. So I'm just staying away.
Yeah, I'm staying away from this one too. Gross game. I probably will watch maybe a total of 5 minutes of this game, if we're being honest. So, yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say here. Oh.
Moving on. Chiefs going to LA to face the Chargers. Chargers 8.5 point dogs at home, 39.5 point total. Chiefs have been winning games. They haven't been dominant, but they haven't needed to be either. Chargers have a lot of injuries. I think both tackles got injured. I'm not sure their status for playing this weekend. Chiefs defense is already playing pretty well. And I guess Easton Stick is going to be taking over at quarterback for the Let me
Chargers.
double check that. I think it's Easton Stick who's their backup.
That's what it was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where's Flacco? Indianapolis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, it's Taylor Heineke.
Ooh.
That's a little spicier than Easton Stick.
It's a lot spicier than Easton Stick. I still don't know if it's spicy enough for me to take the Chargers here. I mean,
man, I want
will
to so badly. Who, if anyone is going to cover in this situation, it's Jim Harbaugh.
Yes. I don't know if they can win, but absolutely cover. That's a big number.
Doing it, but like I want to so badly. I'm probably going to tease it. I'll probably tease this if I'm being honest.
Up to about 14.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, the Chiefs just don't really seem to have any desire to blow anybody out right now. They're just content with playing in a close game, making a stop late, scoring late, and going home with their 5 to 7 point win. So,
I mean, let's see. What year did Harbaugh get to the 49ers? Is it 2013? 2011. So
2011?
2011, he lost a game by 10. That was his biggest loss. 2012, his biggest loss was 11. No, he lost by 23 to the Giants one week. Oh, and he got blown out by the Legion of Boom defense one week. Then in 2013,
that was their Super Bowl run.
They had a few blowouts in 2013 too. Okay, so I'm not as confident now because they did have a few just like blowout games.
Well, yeah, he got blown out at Michigan plenty of times too. I don't think he is. I don't think he's as much as like the boogeyman as his brother as far as when it comes to those games.
Yeah,
he's more of like whenever he gets rolling, he's like impossible to beat.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just staying away from this thing because this might just be a blowout. I don't know what to expect here.
Yeah, I'm staying away from it. Way too many injuries to tell, and I just don't know if the Chiefs even care enough to win by 10.
All right, moving on. Game of the week.
Game of the week. We have Bills at Ravens. Ravens 1.5 point favorites, 46.5 point total. I know the Ravens won last week. They go to 1-2. They need this win big time still. I mean, as much as you don't want to start 0-3, don't really want to start 1-3 either. Bills coming off a big win. I mean, just absolute domination up and down the field. I mean, I don't even think Josh Allen played in the second half. Technically he did, but
Mitch Trubisky was out there.
Yeah, it was just absolute shit pumping. I mean, it didn't matter. So we'll see. Ravens, I mean, Lamar's looking good right now. I like the over in this game. I think we're going to see a lot of points. I think over 46.5 is a lot. I haven't been taking very many totals this year so far. I like 46.5 here. I think both these teams are going to be able to score. I can definitely see like a 28-24 game. 31-29.
I'm jumping on that with you. Give me the over.
I'm excited for this game.
Because as I'm sitting here thinking or looking at the numbers, Ravens 3 games, 47, 49, 53. Bills 3 games. Let's see, what is this? 62, 41, 57. That's pretty clear math.
How many points did they score by themselves against the Jaguars?
They scored 47.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
If the Jaguars could have done anything, that would have been a 60-point total.
Well, and I don't think either of these defenses are that good right now.
Yeah.
Baltimore's giving up 27, 26, and 25, while Buffalo gave up 28 to the Cardinals week 1 before only allowing 10 to the Dolphins after Tua got hurt, and only 10 to the Jaguars, who look completely lost. Like, I don't think either of these defenses are really that good right now, and they're both these offenses should be able to score.
Yep. I like the over a lot.
Me too. I'm putting it in right now. Oops. Okay. Moving on. Sorry, I forgot that I had to change the graphic there.
All right, we have Titans at Dolphins. Dolphins 1.5 point underdogs, 36.5 point total. I think before the game, my site was showing Dolphins as favorites. The site Q uses was still showing the Dolphins as underdogs. I'm not touching this game. This game is gross. I think Tyler Huntley might be playing quarterback for the Dolphins this weekend. If it's not him, I don't know who it is because I think Skylar Thompson's already been ruled out. And
let's see. I forget who's supposed to be starting this game for the Dolphins.
Gotta be Tyler Huntley, right?
Yeah, I think it's gotta be. Yeah, it's gotta be. It's gotta be Snoop. I just want to touch on what you said there. Snoop's his nickname. I just want to touch on what you said there about the different books. So FanDuel has the Dolphins as 1.5 point dogs, and Bovada has them as 1 point favorites. And that's hysterical to me because Bovada is just like using their ability to like, oh, you can't bet in your state? Well, here's a line. You should bet on Will Levis. Like, that's just hysterical to me that there's like, go bet on Will Levis. That's nice.
Yeah. Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to believe in Mayo Boy. Yeah. I mean, I'm not touching this game no matter, like, because even without a quarterback, I mean, Tyreek Hill can catch a ball 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage and take it 80.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the Titans defense can get a couple pick sixes or
like,
fumble sixes.
This is so hard for me because I look at the Titans defense and I'm like, those boys can play. Like, they are good defense. Their cornerback room is legit very good.
Yeah.
Like, they could lock some guys down, but at the same time, Will Levis can give up 14 points on his own. Like, that's the type of football Will Levis is playing right now. So it's just like, I cannot bet a Titans game. I just can't. I will not let myself.
I bet one Titans game this year, and it was week 1 against the Bears, and I damn near killed me.
Like, how? Like, what goes through the dude's brain?
I have no idea.
I would love to be a fly on the wall of that quarterback room, like with Brian Callahan, like after one of these games. I'm just like, what on earth are you doing?
What is going on here? I'm not touching it. Next up, we have Seahawks at Lions. Lions 3.5 point favorites at home in Detroit with a 46.5 point total. I'm taking the Seahawks here. I think they're playing really, really good. I mean, Geno's still doing – I think this is just what Geno is at this point. He's just a solid quarterback that's going to complete most of his passes, not going to really put himself in trouble. Zach Charbonnet is running the ball fairly well.
Dude, Geno's a ball. He makes crazy plays, man.
Yeah. And DK Metcalf's a dog. Jackson Smith and Jig was a dog. Tyler Lockett's still out there catching balls. Dog. Like,
I mean,
defense is playing pretty well. I mean, that game against the Patriots was a little fluky, but I think the Seahawks are solid, man. And catching 3.5, I like the hook. If it was just 3, I might avoid it, but getting the hook, I like this go drag it out game. I mean, Lions defense has looked really good so far too. Amon-Ra St. Brown starting to get going. They have the best duo of running backs in the league. I don't even think it's even close in Monty and Gibbs. So it's going to be a great game, and I think it's going to be a close game. So I like the Seahawks.
Yeah, I got Seahawks plus 3.5. Last year, this is one of the most fun games of the year.
Yeah.
Week 2, Seahawks go to Detroit. They beat them in overtime, 37-31.
After after the Lions had won in Arrowhead the week before.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not expecting a game of that extent here as far as point score. I think both these defenses have improved pretty considerably. But I expect a hard-fought battle. So, plus 3.5. I mean, I'm taking that all day.
Absolutely.
All right. On to some college football.
College football. Okay. So, I only have 4 bets. On my first bet, I'm taking BYU plus 3 at Baylor. This line makes no sense to me. I'm either the biggest square in the world, and I'm eating the biggest, fattest piece of cheese you've ever seen in a rat line. I can usually sniff out rat lines. Baylor's not good. Baylor is terrible. Baylor is so bad. BYU is good. They've beat good teams. They demolished a good Kansas State team last week. Maybe they see it as a letdown spot, but when you're BYU, I don't see how it could be considered a letdown spot when you still have a pretty tough schedule ahead of you. Like, you got to win your games, assuming that only one team out of the Big 12 gets into the playoff. You're going to have to go and win the conference. So, yeah, give me BYU plus 3, and I'm putting 3 units on it. I don't understand the line.
3. That's a tray.
Trace. Next up, Louisville. I bet against Louisville last week, mainly because I thought Georgia Tech catching 10 was a pretty solid bet. They lost by 12. Oh, well. But Louisville's been a really, really good team. Notre Dame, I mean, they destroyed one of the worst teams in college football. But other than that, I mean, they struggled against A&M, ended up getting the win, and they lost to Northern Illinois, who then lost to Buffalo. So, I mean, Louisville plus 6 this seems almost as ratty as the BYU line, but I'm only putting 1 unit on that one. Next up, I have Texas minus 38.5 versus Mississippi State. 30-plus point favorites in the SEC versus SEC. The team favored by more than 30 covers at an astronomical rate. I think the line gets lowered down just because it's SEC versus SEC, honestly, because, I mean, I don't know why this isn't a 45-point line, if we're being honest. So give me Texas minus 38.5. And then last up, I have Miami with one of the most exciting teams in the nation right now, maybe the best quarterback in the nation, Cam Ward, probably going to win the Heisman at minus 19 versus Virginia Tech.
All right. And then my college bets, the way that we do this, if you haven't been around for the prior weeks, I'm just telling my bet, and Jay's going to tell you whether it's good or not, because I just do not have enough knowledge on college football to actually tell you much reason why I'm betting it. I just know I'm betting it. Now, first up, Alabama at home, taking on Georgia. Alabama minus 2.5 or plus 2.5. Roll Tide.
Yeah, Alabama at home. I think this is a toss-up. Take whatever you want. I think it should be a great game. Kirby Smart hasn't lost to anybody not named Nick Saban in the last 3 seasons. So proceed with caution. But it is Alabama at home. They still have the athletes. Kalen DeBoer's been a good coach everywhere he's been. They look like the Alabama of old, walking into Wisconsin and beating them like a drum. So, yeah, Alabama still looks like Alabama, but this is the first time we're seeing real big boy football square up and duke it out. I expect a close game. I like Georgia, but I think I wouldn't say anybody's right or wrong taking either side in this game.
All right, next up, I got Illinois going to Penn State, 17.5-point dogs. Give me Illinois plus 17.5.
Brett Bielema, powerful, big. He is
bigger every time I see him.
He is big. I think Penn State's incredible. I avoided this just because I think Penn State's really fucking good. But Bielema's big.
He's massive.
So I don't know what to think. So this is
He's gonna blot out the sun and Drew Alar can't see.
Yeah, this is one of those games where we're either gonna find out if Penn State's the real deal or how big Bielema really is.
Honestly, this bet is a win-win for me. Either I win money or Penn State is the real deal, and I'm going to watch Ohio State at Penn State in person. So, like, it's a win-win for me.
Yeah.
Next up, I got Kentucky going to Ole Miss. Ole Miss are 17.5-point favorites. I'm taking Ole Miss minus 17.5.
Good choice.
Hotty toddy. Let's go.
I thought you were taking Kentucky there. I was going to say no.
All right, next up. The Texas Tech Red Raiders. NFLU, as some call it. Traveling.
Texas Tech quarterbacks have won 3 out of the last 4 Super Bowls, or 3 out of the last 5 Super Bowls, excuse me. Been to 6 straight AFC championship games. Have 2 MVPs at quarterback, 2 Super Bowl MVPs at quarterback. So, I mean, Texas Tech basically runs the NFL.
There's something in the water in Lubbock. Seriously, there's something in the water in Lubbock. Kind of concerning.
Can't drink it.
All right, Texas Tech going to Cincinnati. Tech is 2.5-point favorites. Give me them boys, them Red Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not taking it. I don't know what to think about this team.
They're a mystery.
I hope they win.
It could be.
I really hope. We have Arizona next week. If we beat Cincinnati, Arizona will be a true measuring stick.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we already know you like this one. BYU going to Baylor. I got BYU plus 3.5. Then I got Virginia Tech.
I got to see the money on that. We got it. It was probably too early in the week. I'm gonna have to see where the money is coming in and bets and everything public because I don't know how BYU's not a favorite by
74% of the cash is on Baylor. 53% of the tickets are on BYU.
What?
I mean, it's early.
So the Sharps are on Baylor?
Yep.
I'm a square. I don't get it. What? I don't know what people are seeing in Baylor. I've witnessed them with my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, they were awful, the games I watched. Like, awful.
Maybe we're getting duped. I don't know.
I mean, that's one of my only bets where, like, I didn't follow other podcasts and other things that I listened to. That was just me seeing that number and being like, I'm betting against Baylor.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have bet BYU if they were favored in this game.
Yeah.
Okay.
But moving on, Virginia Tech going to Miami, to the U. Miami's 18.5-point favorites. And I'm taking them. Give me the Canes.
Cam Ward, baby.
Cam Ward. And then last one, you talked me into this. Texas taking on Mississippi State in Austin, Texas. Texas 38.5-point favorites.
They'll be covering my
I like to saw the horns off, but you know what? Give me the Longhorns.
Wreck 'em horns.
Wreck 'em horns, baby.
All right. Well, that'll be it for this week. We will also be doing our short form. Be about 10 or 15 minutes. Just going through all the games, all the picks real quick. So we'll be doing that next. So stick around if you want. So we'll see y'all next week. And remember, we ain't sleeping on them Cardinals, them dirty birds.
Caca.
That's how we've won all year, team, right? Yes, sir. You held them to 20 points, man.
Yes,
you
sir.
gave us a chance at the end. I got 3 words for you. You like that? Yeah!